Hello everybody and welcome back to Tip Top Travel. Today you join me in what is my fourth episode from my visit to Vietnam series. Today we are going round the city of Hue, which is located in central Vietnam. Hue City is beautiful. It is teeming with UNESCO designated temples and pagodas, imperial palaces and tombs, and it's something which, if you visit Vietnam, you must go to Hue City. In recent years, or in fairly recent years, in the 20th century at least, it was the site of quite extensive battles, both during the French occupation, during the Japanese occupation, and the American occupation of Vietnam. So it is a place which has seen lots of tragedy, but is now a place of peace, and the people there pride themselves on peace and just taking life that little bit slower. So I really hope you enjoy this exploration. So this first piece of exploration that we are doing is going around Hue's imperial citadel, located directly at the centre of Hue. So during the imperial times, Hue was the capital of Vietnam, and this was the centre of the Nguyen dynasty. The citadel was constructed in 1804 under Emperor Gia Long and was habited all the way until 1945. In 1993, the site was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of the monuments that stood in place there. However, the site was at the very centre of some significant battles, both in the Japanese occupation of Vietnam as well as the American occupation of Vietnam, and was actually an American army base during the Vietnam War. And as you're walking around, you can actually see the remnants of this. So in between the beautiful buildings, you see bullet holes, you see tank marks, you see areas where the military and the fighting has destroyed such beautiful history. But the Vietnamese government is actually trying to rebuild the citadel and has had lots of funding to be able to do so. So hopefully within the next decade or so it will be back to its former glory. But going around the citadel, you're really hit with both a sense of peace and tranquility, but also a huge sense of history and how conflict does ruin us as a human race. So after we finished the tour of the Imperial Citadel, we headed on to our second stop, which was the Tien Mu Pagoda. So it's situated on the Harki Hill on the north bank of the Perfume River and is about 5 kilometres outside of Hue city centre. So you can either get the motorbike or get the bus there. You could also walk there, but in the summer months it is incredibly hot, and especially in the middle of the day, it's not advised to do that. So the pagoda is fascinating because its name derives from a special legend, and it's also one of the oldest and most historical pagoda which you find in Hue city. It was built in 1601, so is incredibly old and is a special architectural site. It was also a hotbed of anti-government sentiment in 1963. So it's been the centre of Vietnamese history for a long time, but is now a place of peace, and you can go there, take as much time as you like to wander around the grounds. It is incredibly peaceful. You can light incense, you can walk around, just take note of the trees and all the different sounds that you can hear there. That's what I'd recommend doing the most. It is incredibly peaceful, and you find just an incredible sense of connection there. So the last stop on our tour of Hue was to one of Hue's many tombs, which were built in recognition and remembrance of its old emperors. Now, I cannot actually remember whose tomb this was, which is, I know, awful of me. But what I can tell you is that this tomb was again the site of another infamous battle during the Vietnam War. It is also being restored, and you can see the bullet holes and the damage which was caused during the Vietnam War being mended on a daily basis. And again, exploring this tomb was a big reminder about the savage impact of war. I was told that this was an army base again for the American soldiers during the Vietnam War, and around the surroundings of the tomb was laid a minefield which has now been cleared. But again, it goes to show just how all periods of history do intertwine, and that just because one area was built in a certain time of history doesn't mean it wasn't used again then in another time. So this was a beautiful tomb to explore. If you go to Hue, you'll be able to explore many tombs like this, and even this one yourself. I would highly recommend visiting on your journey in Vietnam. So as we come to the end of our tour of the tomb, I'd like to take some time to say a huge thank you to everybody for watching this video. I hope this video provides you with a little insight into what it's like exploring Hue and inspires you to go to Hue yourself. I would highly recommend going. As I say, it's an incredibly peaceful part of Vietnam, and it's so crucial to the country's history, in both ancient history and then also later modern history. So thank you very much once again for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos of my time in Vietnam. Please feel free to go and explore the other travel series I've made in the past, and I hope to see you again in another video shortly.